Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Matthew Smith, and I've been working on the Regia Marine Seismic Survey Environment Plan for the last year or so, undertaking the consultations out in the region and also leading the preparation of the environment plan. This is, I think this is now our 7th webinar in the series, and we are at the point in the process whereby the Regia Marine Seismic Survey Environment Plan is available for public comment. So the purpose of today's webinar is to provide a live demonstration for people who would like to make comment on the Regia Marine Seismic Survey EP. We'll go through how to make comment, and we'll also explain a little bit more about the process as we go through those steps. For people's information, this webinar is being recorded. We understand that not everybody is able to make this particular time, but we have undertaken to record it, and it will be published on our YouTube channel and a link sent out. It will also be available on the Regia website at the conclusion, probably a couple of days after the conclusion of the webinar today. Hopefully you can all see and hear me, and you should all be able to see that I'm sharing my screen, which is currently open on the Regia website. So if you go to www.regiamss, that's regiamss.com.au, you'll be taken to this web page, and we've put a direct link on our web page for people to be able to make public comment. Just a quick note on the website before we go into things. This website has been up now for nearly, in fact, it is a year as of today. In fact, it's the anniversary today. And there's a lot of information on this website about the process that we've undertaken, and some information about what we've heard so far, and ways that you can interact with us either through the interactive map or by signing up to our newsletters. There is some sort of information summaries as well that are available, and all of our previous newsletters and project updates over that time. And this is where the webinar will go after today's webinar. There is also the document library, and on that document library, we'll do an update very shortly to include all of the updated materials. About 80% of our environment plan had been previously published on the 11th of September 2023. So there's about 20% of the information now presented through the public comment process is stuff that we've amended because of the consultations and are now able to present to the public. So to go into how to make a comment, the easiest way, once you're on the Regia website or through the NOPSEMA website, is to get to this direct link. And so what that will take you to is the NOPSEMA website, where you'll find the Regia MSS page. So as I say, this is accessible through a number of different ways: the Regia website, the NOPSEMA website, and if you Google Regia MSS public comment, you'll also find your way to this site. There's a short sort of 300 or 400 word overview of what the activity is for those of you that aren't aware. I won't go into that now, but there's some context setting there about the activity. And a map of the proposed Regia survey. If you keep scrolling down the page, you'll have the instruction here about how to provide your comment. So this is the first sort of page, or this is the first place where you'll start to learn a little bit about the public comment process. And so it is an opportunity for members to have their say, that broader than just relevant persons. This is now any member of the public can have their say in relation to this proposal. For any reason, NOPSEMA state there that if there's any reason that your information you want to provide is sensitive, or if you're unable to use this platform for any reason, there is a public comment environment plan brochure. I won't click on that now, but you can click on that for alternative ways to make sure that you can have your say on this proposal. There's then a paragraph where NOPSEMA identify things that are irrelevant to NOPSEMA's decision-making criteria and as such cannot be considered. And these are really fundamental things to understand about how to make a constructive public comment. So the first of those is statements associated with a fundamental objection to oil and gas activity. And the reason for that is that those are matters considered by the government and not by NOPSEMA and not by the title holder. It's appropriate that that's done at a policy level. So if you want to make those types of comments, whilst you're free to do so, of course, it's very clear there right from the outset that those types of things are irrelevant to these decision-making criteria. We have on occasion, in my experience, we have experienced comments that contain personal threats or profanities. Those things obviously are ignored immediately. That's the policy, that those things shouldn't be part of the public comment process, along with any spam email, things like bots spamming through this process, which is quite difficult to do, but occasionally has happened in the past. And comments made through online channels and social media and petitions. Those things are not necessarily relevant in terms of how use this portal. And we are aware that there may well be petitions that people want to sign up to, and they can get sent to NOPSEMA in other ways. So there's just a list there of things that NOPSEMA has stated are not relevant to the decision-making criteria. So to proceed with making a submission, funnily enough, you click on the line here that says click to provide a submission. So outlined here is that there is a six-step process. There's an important notice from NOPSEMA about the privacy principles and the application of the Privacy Act, which is about how your information that you provide, your personal information, is treated by NOPSEMA. And there's some information there also that reiterates the position on the earlier page associated with how to make a public comment and how to ensure that it's relevant to the environmental management of the activity and therefore must be considered by the title holder. Worth having a read through those notices. For the sake of the webinar, I'm just going to accept those and just continue for just now. And so we'll do a little bit of a dummy introduction here. So first name, so my browser here is automatically populating my name, but what you'll do is you'll type your name and your email address in. We'll pop in the Regia email address there. And the organisation, obviously, I'm working for CGG. So for me, that's CGG in this case. At this point, we can either save to come back later, or we can continue. And then this is very straightforward at this point. There's one final reiteration of how to make a constructive comment. And the main topics that NOPSEMA would like people to focus on are identified there. So this is the three main things that are the purpose of this this consultation and the public comment process. So those are the identification and description of environmental features or values and sensitivities that either are maybe absent in the environment plan or maybe not stated correctly for some reason. It might be the identification and evaluation of impacts and risks described in the plan. So it might be that your view, having read the information, is that we've overestimated something or underestimated something or otherwise overlooked some piece of information. So it's your opportunity to comment on that type of thing. And then it's my personal favourite, which is actually about the management of environmental impacts and risks. So this is where it's about the control measures, the things that control or limit our environmental impacts and risks. If you disagree with our management, or if you disagree with some of our decisions we've made that are all being documented in the submission, those are the types of things that are great to receive comments on, because they provide good perspective to us that we can go back and reevaluate what we're doing. So for the moment, I'm just going to put in test comment. Of course, you can copy and paste, or you can write your comment into here. You have the opportunity, of course, to simply write a covering note or nothing really here, and you can simply just upload a document that you might have already prepared. And those documents up to a 25 megabyte size, so quite a large document can be uploaded here. In this case, I'm not going to choose a file, but if you wanted to, this should just link to your computer, and you should be able to choose a file from wherever, from the internet, or from whatever drive you're pulling it from. There's a little bit of feedback then for NOPSEMA, which is to rate this public comment process as to whether it was easy, neutral, or difficult. And by clicking on the button, you'll no longer be able to edit your response. So remember, when you do this, now my personal view is I think it's a very easy process, and so I'm going to click easy in this instance. By clicking on submit response, you'll no longer be able to edit the response. Okay, so it's a final kind of reminder, and then it is just as straightforward as submitting response. Once that happens, there'll be an email that's sent to you. You will be given this unique identification number, which is worthwhile just noting down. You will get that email to your inbox. It is worth checking your spam or junk folder. Sometimes that does happen. And there's just a further note then from NOPSEMA as to what happens with the public comments. And so I'll just run through that very briefly, which is that NOPSEMA aggregates all of these public comments. They are providing them to CGG as and when they come through. About once a week, we get a download of comments that have come through. The process closes on the 26th of February. And so after that time, all of those comments will have been received by CGG. And that the comments are provided for CGG to then be able to make assessment of the public comments and to modify the environment plan in any which way that it needs to be modified. It's important that this process has those features of natural justice, so that both the public can make a comment, but also that CGG have the opportunity to respond to those comments as well. And what CGG have to do is prepare a report on the public comments that have been received. And so that's a thematic presentation. It's not a response to every public comment. So that thematic presentation will then be published alongside the environment plan when that's accepted. I did realise, of course, that actually having started this, I do just need to go back and make sure that everybody knows where they can get access to the environment plan. So this is the document that you'll actually be making comment on. And that is actually found at the very first link here, which is the full details of this ePlay, including published documents. This will take you to another part of the NOPSEMA website, and you'll be able to see the Regia MSS, the map that was on the previous page. You can click on this open for comment button to take you back to the previous page. But the actual documents themselves is this document here. So it's one document, and that's this is the only place that you'll be able to find it on NOPSEMA's website. As I say, on the Regia Social Pinpoint website, there's a breakdown of this document into all of its different chapters and attachments, and a complete set, and a complete collation of those documents as well. So those are all available on the Regia website as well. So just to kind of cover off what we've looked at today, we've looked at the Regia website. We've looked at how to make public comment through the direct link. We've spoken about some of the limitations around the process, and we've spoken about how to make a constructive comment, which is to make sure that it's about the adverse effects of the activity, and in particular looking for clarifications or input on the description of the environment, on the identification and evaluation of environmental impacts and risks, and then on the management of impacts and risks as well. So that's the content that we had prepared for today. No slides, but just a walk through of how to make public comment. We hope that that's useful for folks. And within the context of the purpose of today, we will just quickly open up for Q&A. If there's anybody that has got some concerns about how to make public comment, and you should all have access to either the chat function or a Q&A function. I will be monitoring both. So if people would like to make like to question some part of the process or ask for some clarifications, then now is the time to do it. We've just got 5 minutes or so before the end of the webinar. We've got a first question here. Is the web page in front of me is tiny? How do I enlarge it? That is very different depending on the piece of hardware that you're on. There may be ways of, if you can see those ellipses, those 3 little dots maybe on the screen, there might be a zoom function that you can play with. You can press, I think there's a shortcut which is to press Control on your keyboard and scroll in on your mouse if that's the hardware you're using. There may be other ways as well. It's very hardware dependent, that question. So sorry I can't be any more help on that one there, but yeah, hopefully you'll find a way of being able to zoom into that content somehow. And it may be that it's I don't know which platform you're on either, whether you're on a tablet or a phone or a desktop or laptop, but it might be easier on I'd suggest it may be easier on a desktop or on a laptop, but again, I don't know what hardware people are using, so. Desktop and Teams browser. Okay, so it may, if you're on the Teams browser, it may be that you're actually just seeing my screen. So would really encourage you. I'll pop this into the chat. I'll pop the. Let me just find it. Where's the window gone? If you go to this website. If you click on that link there, right at the top of that page, you'll find, so that's the Regia website, the consultation hub, and that's what I'm sharing on my screen at the moment. So once you log into that website, one of the first links there is the direct link to the NOPSEMA website. And again, once you're in your browser, rather than in the Teams browser, that you may be able to zoom in and out a little bit better then. I might also actually be able to provide in the chat here a direct link to the NOPSEMA website. That would be, yes, I can do that. So another link coming to you all now. That link will take you directly to NOPSEMA website where the environment plan actually is. And we've taken quite a lot of time to try and make sure that this environment plan is very accessible. So for those of you still able to see my screen, when you go to this document, it might take a little while to load. But when it does load, it loads as a PDF. And we've tried to make that PDF interactive to make it easy to navigate around what is quite a large submission. So we'll just wait for this to load. So this is the environment plan itself. I can zoom in on my machine. The zoom buttons are just down here. So I can zoom in there. What I'm able to do is also, this little if I zoom in again here, this bookmark icon. So you'll see we have this tab that you'll be able to open in your software where there are a number of bookmarks where you can navigate through the document. And also on the second page of the document, if I just zoom out just a touch here, on the second page of the document, there is also a map of every document that we've prepared over the last year. The environment plan itself is this one right in the middle. These are all the documents that have been prepared before and released, and these are the documents that have been subsequently released as a result of the consultations. And these are all hyperlinked. So if what you were particularly interested in was underwater sound, and let's say it was invertebrates in particular, you can click directly to that document, and you can read our assessment on underwater sound for invertebrates. So you can go directly to the content that you're most interested in. And we also, and then to navigate back to the home page, you should be able to open these bookmarks, or you can just take the scroller here and just move that right back up to the top, and back on page 3 you'll be back at the document map. The bookmarks don't seem to be loading at the moment, which is possibly an internet connection issue for me, but they're certainly all there. So I hadn't anticipated doing that, but it's probably useful to see where the actual EP is and how to navigate that document as well. So I think we had, there is a YouTube video also about how to access the document and how to navigate the document as well. So that can be found. There's a link to that actually right at the top here in it's right on the front page. So a link to a video instruction on navigating the document. You can click on that link. It will tell you where you're going to, which is a place on YouTube. And then there's a video here that might assist people in navigating the environment plan. Cool. If there are no further questions, we'll wrap up the webinar there. Really appreciate those of you that have been able to attend today. If there are any final questions, please do feel free to pop them into the chat or the Q&A function. I'll hang on for a couple of minutes. But other than that, thank you all for your time and attention, and we look forward to hearing from you through the public comment period.